is Mr. Yugi805 with another anime review, and people think that my voice sounds a bit too monotone. Mr. Moonman, if I want to be monotone, I can be monotone for you. This is monotone. Fuck yourself. Just kidding, Moonman, I love you. So let's begin with a new anime review. Our next anime review is Haganai. Now, me personally, I like it, but I don't want, go crazy about it and buy the Blu-ray combo of it. My brother, however, who's doing the script, he has a lowly complex. So
what?
Let's begin with the characters. We have Kodaka. The most important ones that we have are Kodaka, Kobato, Senna, Yozora, Mary, Rena, and Yukimaru. Those are the most important characters that are really the ones that the anime focuses around of. So let's begin with more in-depth. Senna is a daughter of the school's headmaster. She is the most popular girl at school, loved by all the guys, but all the girls seem to hate her for that popularity. Now, she doesn't consider the guys her friends, cause she uses them more as servants, calls them pigs, right?
Yep.
And such other abusive stuff, but they take it because she looks great. She is a huge lover of visual novels and video game dating sims. She's also a bit of a loli, because around Kodaka's sister, she just does really suggestive stuff. But we'll get into that later. Let's move on to the second female protagonist, because there's two. Senna, second one being Yozora. The channel head owner is biased towards her and dislikes Senna because he's more into the tomboyish type girls. He's not gay, I don't think, but if he is, I don't know. She's a lonely girl and comes off as very mean towards people. She has an air friend and has history with Kodaka, but he doesn't know it. And she doesn't know how to tell him because she is shy and believes that if he finds out that they were friends, that he would reject her because he thought she was a guy. We'll get into that in the plot. She is the club president of the Neighbors Club, which is basically for all the loners who don't have any friends and can't fit into any other group or club, and are socially
awkward,
isolated. Yeah, and awkward. Let's move on to a background character. They're all main characters, but more Yozora and Senna and Kodaka play the most in this anime series. The rest are just there to support them. They're important, but not that important. Rena, she's a genius in science and doesn't really attend class. She just has not a secret lab, but a private lab to herself where she works. And the only reason that she is there is because the headmaster thought it would look good for the school to have someone like Senna be there. Someone smart who invents their own stuff, which is how she does things. She invents stuff that's a bit random. She's a huge otaku and she loves BL, yaoi, doujinshi, and she develops a lot of random things like hair dye for Kodaka because she thinks his hair looks really bad. But as we get into the plot, you'll realize why he didn't want to change his hair. Let's move on to the next character. Yukimaru is a boy who looks up to Kodaka as a true man because of the way he has everyone fear him. Because you'll find out why. He becomes his servant and does several things for him, which just only hurts Kodaka's reputation. Because, if you look at an underclassman working for an upperclassman who already has a bad reputation, it doesn't really play off well. Yeah, so as the students think he's bullying him, also he cross-dresses as a maid because Yozora tricks him. He's very loyal to Kodaka. You'll find out more stuff about him that's really interesting in the second season. I just want to cover the first season for now because that's about all I can tolerate. Let's move on to another character. This is where it starts getting really lowly-ish. Mary. She's a little girl who happens to be one of the nuns of the school, giving her power to start a club, which is used to Yozora's advantage. She literally takes advantage of this little girl, slaps her a bit, and she has to approve of the club. She is easily tricked and is overall nice. But again, she's easily tricked, so you tell her one thing and she'll fucking believe it. That is how she comes off of. She is very fond of Kodaka and even calls him Big Bro or Oni-chan. She's constantly fighting with Kodaka's actual younger sister for his attention and his affection. So let's move on to Kodaka's actual younger sister. And we have not touched Kodaka yet, which seems really odd, which the main character should probably go first. But let's go on to sister Kobuto. She's the young sister of Kodaka, and she loves to cosplay as her favorite character from an anime she watches. She always fights with Mary. One spoiler that I'm going to give: she's not really socially isolated like everybody else in this anime. She's actually pretty popular in her school, but she doesn't like the popularity. Let's move on to the main character, Kodaka. He's the main male character, the only main male character, I should say. I think I gave a bit too much there. He is looked at as a delinquent by everyone because the first day of school, which he made such a horrible impression without meaning to, that poor Kodaka has lived as a thuggish, mean person throughout his school years. He lives with his sister alone. He has unique hair that makes him stand out. Again, not in a good way. He's nice to his friends, and he just wants to protect them. And yeah, that's pretty much it about him. He is the main character. There's a lot more to go into, but story. The plot revolves around Kodaka, who attends a school late into the semester, but because of his connections, is allowed in. Everybody thinks he's a thug because in the first day, I'm gonna spoil it a bit. He wakes up late. He tries to get on the bus, tries to run. He gets all sweaty at school, and he trips, and everybody thinks that he was trying to attack the teacher. And that, added with his unique hairstyle of being blonde with blackish hair, the way he just looked, the expression he made, and the sweat, it just made him feel like he was a bad guy, even though he wasn't. He's generally avoided. And one day he walks into Yozora, weird Yozora, talking to her air friend, and just that's weird on her own. I mean, later Yozora starts a club with him called the Neighbors Club. The objective being finding friends, which is weird objective, and the way that they recruit members is pretty weird on its own too. They hide a message in their banner which says, "Looking for friends," right? Something like that. Senna figures it out and wants to join, but Yozora doesn't want to because she's popular, and she doesn't believe that Senna's actually being serious about it, and she just doesn't like Senna because of the way that she acts and looks and all that other stuff, that girl stuff that they're all jealous about. And a bunch of members just join in later on into the series, such as all the characters that I named. They join little by little with interesting backgrounds to each of them, which if you want to know, you should probably look into them because they got pretty good backgrounds, most of them. So I think that's it. Music, the opening and ending are okay. My producer's really biased towards it. He loves them. He bumps it in his car every day. I think it fits the situations perfectly. The opening is okay. It's perverted, but okay. The ending's good. The music, it just fits the anime pretty well. It's not outstanding. It's not like anything like a 400-person orchestra. It's masterpiece Beethoven, but it fits well. Now let's do the animation. The animation for Haganai was done by ATC Build, or Anime International Company Inc. They have done such works as Persona 4 the animation, Heaven's Lost Property, Striker Witches 2, Orimio, I don't know how to pronounce that, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. It's one of my favorite animes. And Persona 3 Movie 1 Spring of Birth, it was released in October with animes such as Persona 4, Future Diaries. The animation is pretty good, and compared to other animes by the company, it's high up there. Let's move on to the next part. So now we're going to move on to the voice actors, and my voice, as you could probably tell, is getting really tired because it's midnight and I'm tired, so I'm going to go ahead and move on and let my brother take this. Come on, Jesus, take this out.
Okay, we're going to start with the VAs on things. We have Kodaka, voiced by Jerry Jewell. He's been in such works such as Hitalia, Black Butler, Kinichi, and Back. I like that. Next we move on to Kobuto. She is voiced by Alison Victorian. She's in Space Dandy, Wolf Children, and Case Closed. Yozora, voiced by Whitney Rogers. I couldn't find much except for additional voices in Wolf Children. Next we have Senna, voiced by Jade Saxon. She's in Space Dandy, Korewa Zombie Deska, Wolf Children, and that's it. Couldn't find much on her. Honestly, I couldn't find much on these VAs. Behind the voice acting doesn't really help me. Next
Wikipedia
week,
doesn't really give you that much information either, so
I mean, it does give you information, but you don't know if it's right.
let's move on to the script.
Yukimaru, voiced by Ashley Domingo. Couldn't find anything. Really, that's what the script says. Next we have Reina, voiced by Alexis Tipton. She's in Space Dandy, Bakutu Test, Korewa Zombie Deska, Rosario and the Vampire, My Bride is a Mermaid, and Wolf Children. Now for Mary, who's voiced by Christy Kang. She is in Bakutu Test, Bigata HK, Wolf Children, and that's it. Next, we're going to move to the Japanese side of things and go to Japanese VAs. First, we have Kodaka, voiced by Ryohei Kimura. He is in Kim Possible, Blood Lad, Eden of the East. Kobito was voiced by Kana Hanazawa, who is in Bigata HK, Dead Man Wonderland, Durarara, Infinite Stratos, Persona 4, The Golden, Space Dandy, Danganronpa 2, and Garden of Words. Next we have Yozora, voiced by Miruna Inoue. She's in Attack on Titan, Digimon Fusion, Gurren Lagann, High School for the Dead, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now we have Senna, who is voiced by Kana Itoi. She's been in such things as Seiyo, The World Only God Knows, Persona 4. Next, Yukimaru, voiced by Nozumi Yamamoto. She's been in stuff. Reina, she is voiced by Misato Fukuin? Something. She's been in Rosario and the Vampire, Strike Witches, Pokemon, Street Fighter. Okay, well, moving on.
Now let me add this to it. We didn't. Well, for Japanese voice actors, it's really hard to find stuff they've been in because we don't really research and go through every single anime and try to find their names. We just look up their names, see what they've been in, or see what shows up, and we put that. And if you didn't know this about the English voice actors, everybody was either in Wolf Children or Space Dandy. Just fun fact for you.
Next, we move on to the strengths and weaknesses. Some of its weaknesses lie with the dub. Some of the voices just do not fit. Funimation has this terrible habit of just giving these voice actors that they've been working for with a long time these roles that they don't fit. They just sound so out of place sometimes. Strengths lie within the Japanese dub, because Japan can do no wrong apparently. Yay.
Now, the thing I want to add about that is that yes, Funimation has that terrible tradition almost of giving the roles exclusively to people that they've been working with.
Vic Mignogna.
It's if you look up some voice actors, they get roles upon roles, and sometimes they don't even audition for them. Literally, I haven't seen in the past few years new voice actors come in and voice anime. Mostly because Funimation doesn't like working hard and finding new voice actors. Now, this is not supplied by any facts, but this is what I pretty much sure believe and is true.
Now we're going to move on to recommendations, the final part of this show. And something's in my way. Okay. Now, I recommend to watch the Japanese dub over the English dub, mainly because it sounds superior to the English dub, but the English dub does have its moments, and yes, it is good at some points, but it's all a matter of preference. If you really don't want to read all the words going on the bottom of the screen and missing all the visual humor, then you should probably stick with the English dub. It's not bad. If you haven't watched this anime yet, and why not? It's great, and you should be watching. Insert Funimation reference here.
Now, see about that, I'll give you my 2 cents of what I believe on this anime, recommendation-wise. If you're not into that whole little children pervertedness, then I wouldn't recommend this to you, because you might take offense to this, because there's really a whole lot of suggestive stuff. This anime is full of suggestive stuff. If you like suggestive stuff, which most people do, and most people don't have a problem with, then you should watch this. You would have no problem getting through this. It might not hold your attention at the beginning. If you're not into these type of animes, then you should steer away from it. And if you do watch it, I recommend watching the Japanese dub over the English dub, just because it's my preference. and I feel that the voice acting fits more in the Japanese way than it does in the English way, because Funimation.